Stock market futures are down ahead of this morning's opening bell as President Trump defends his new tariffs.
And as the world reacts, Trump declaring the U.S. will not be making a deal with China unless the trade deficit is solved.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us with more. Peter, it's going to be a busy day.
Yes, and we are not sensing any squishiness on the tariffs from White House officials. They can see the corner of the screen. They know that market futures are dropping all around the world, but this is going in the bucket of short-term pain that they told us they thought was going to come with something worth it for a bigger long-term benefit.
When they look at the fact that we have $1 billion trade deficit, when you look at the trade deficit that we have with certain countries, way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China.
So the big picture argument is still that the U.S. government could be basically bankrupt if businesses have that huge deficit to the benefit of other companies in other countries. And officials are claiming that these other countries are getting the point.
I got a report from the USTR last night that more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation. But they're doing that because they understand that they bear a lot of the tariff. And so I don't think that you're going to see a big effect on the consumer in the U.S.
The Israeli flag is hanging outside Blair House across the street. Bibi Netanyahu is here. We expect he and President Trump to talk about these tariffs. Even though the U.S. and Israel are the best of friends, Israel still got hit with 17% tariffs on Liberation Day. They tried to minimize the hit to them by reducing tariffs on U.S. imports to Israel to 0%. So we will see later on today at a joint press conference with Trump and Netanyahu whether or not other countries reducing their tariffs on the U.S. actually gets them out of it. Back to you.
Hey, Peter, is it your hunch that the president eventually wants to do a deal, but is pretending to get a better deal, pretending like he doesn't want one? For example, when Vietnam said, let's just zero out everything, he said, yeah, I'll get back to you. And Israel said something very similar. Or do you think the president just is going to hold firm, bring manufacturing back, get the tariff revenue, and let the market do what the market does? Do you know what's going on? Are we trying to get a deal?
It seems like he does want a deal, but not a little deal. He wants a big deal that would guarantee the financial health of the United States government and U.S. companies for generations to come. If they make a deal now, the thought here is it's not going to have the same impact as if you make sure that the whole world knows you are serious and that you will sit by and watch the stock market drop and drop and drop day after day after day to get to a better deal. Bigger and better deal down the line. Will it work? I don't know, but it does seem like that is the goal, and there is no. It hasn't even been a week since Liberation Day. Why take your foot off the gas now? Seems to be the thinking.
Thank you so much, Peter. Interesting that he says don't take your foot off the gas because gas prices are down. Oil prices are down. Scott Bessent was talking about that over the weekend. Donald Trump says the U.S. has $7 trillion of committed investments with the auto plants, with chip companies and other types of businesses. And his prediction is the tariffs will bring an additional $1 trillion and companies will be building and manufacturing here in the U.S. He names places like North Carolina, Detroit, and Illinois.
Yeah, and Truth Social moments ago, Trump says oil prices are down, interest rates are down. The slow-moving Fed should cut rates. Food prices are down, there's no inflation, and the long-time abused USA is bringing billions of dollars a week from abusing countries that are on tariffs that are already in place. This despite the fact that the biggest abuser of them all, China, whose markets are crashing, just raised its tariffs by 34% on top of its long-term ridiculously high tariffs, plus not acknowledging my warning for abusing countries not to retaliate. They've made enough for decades, taking advantage of the good old USA. Our past leaders are to blame for allowing this and so much else to happen to our country. Make America great again. It has been less than a week since this happened. But obviously, the markets have shown a tremendous reaction. We knew this was going to happen. And, you know, you have to look at this and figure Donald Trump is playing a very high-stakes game, as we were just talking about it a minute ago. We've never seen a politician who's willing to endure this kind of pain in order to get something done. And it makes you think that Trump really probably does want something big.
I think that's why he's doing it in the beginning of the administration.
Yeah. But I just look at Bill Ackman, who's a very successful businessman and firmly in Trump's court. He has this long post today, and he says, Mike, the country is 100% behind the president and is fixing the tariff system and helping this country who's been taken advantage of. He goes through all that. So far, in many ways, so good. He said, but when markets begin to crash, new investment stops, consumers stop spending, businesses have no choice but to curtail investment and fire workers. And it's not just the big companies that will suffer, small and medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs will experience a greater pain. He wants a pause to it to send a message to cut deals. So that's somebody who's firmly in his court. Elon Musk said, why don't we just zero everything out with Europe? And then, of course, he has a fight with Peter Navarro online. So there's a lot of smart people, many of which are Trump allies, who are getting nervous about all this. Kevin Hassett was taking the fire yesterday. The Treasury Secretary was taking the fire yesterday. Kevin Hassett's going to be with us today because so far the market not happy.
And he said yesterday there are 50 countries that have already contacted the administration to do deals.
I just don't know if the president wants to return their calls. I don't know. So, well, and they were kind of, Lutnick was a little different from Hassett, a little different from the Treasury Secretary, Bessent. So I just wonder if they should get on the same page.
But of course, the big thing to remember, though, is that this is precisely what Donald Trump said he was going to do, which is always a shock when a politician does that. And it's what he's been saying for literally decades, that this is what needs to be done to save the American economy.
And I'll just bring up this. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you have to just let him do what he's going to do, give him some time, because he is a businessman, he's a billionaire, he knows what he's doing. And when does America say, we're tired of paying the most? We're tired of paying and paying and paying and doing what every administration has done. When do we say we're standing up for ourselves and we're going to make free and fair trade? If you're charging us this amount, we're going to charge you that amount.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.